I recently made a video on Ghana, that is tourism in Ghana. And I said that based on the comparison between Nigeria and Ghana, they talk about jollof rice, the music industry, movie industry, all that, that when it has to do with tourism, you leave it for Ghana. What happened? Barrage of comments, both on my YouTube platform and TikTok platform. Some saying I did a good job, others saying no, the facts are not correct. Some were saying where I mentioned, because in the prelude to the tourism comment, I mentioned that Ghana had to drop 2 zeros from their currency instead of 4 zeros. I mentioned 2 zeros to make it strong. Some others were saying, correct yourself. No, and I said in the comment section, yes, they dropped 4 zeros instead of 2 that I mentioned. They dropped 4 to make their currency look stronger. But that is not the issue. This is a travels and tours platform, not platform for economics. So I said, let's focus on tourism. That Ghana has it. That, comparisons are good, but when you see the truth, you see the facts, you know it straight. I said, Ghana has better tourism industry, not just because they have historical facts, beautiful places to show about nature, but that the packaging that they bring into the tourism industry helps to make it one of the most sought after tourist destinations by tourists from across the world. One comment was specifically saying that West Africa lags behind in terms of tourism, and that mentioning Ghana, that Ghana lacks the infrastructure to help the tourism industry, and that in West Africa, countries like Senegal, Ivory Coast, Cape Verde, that they receive more tourists than Ghana. That is not the issue. Number one is that the comparison was between Nigeria and Ghana. But then, even when it has to do with tourism in this continent, if you remove Ghana from the space of the most sought after countries in terms of tourism in continent, not even in West Africa, in the entire continent, then something is wrong. Then it means you've not really studied Ghana when it has to do with tourism. Now, see, remove every bias. Travel to Ghana specifically to explore the tourism industry. I'm from Nigeria, I'm not from Ghana, but I'm saying, of course, I've been to Ghana. I was in Accra specifically. Ghana has it. I said something in that video. Only the Cape Coast Castle is enough to pull the attraction that most of those countries you're talking about in terms of tourism are pulling. Only the Cape Coast Castle is enough to move Ghana into the space of the most sought after tourist destinations in the entire continent. In Nigeria, we have something close to Cape Coast Castle. We call it Point of No Return, Akwa Ibom State. But the question is, what is the traffic of tourists from across the world to that place? Packaging. That's where Ghana understands what tourism is all about. I say Cape Coast Castle is not just one of the darkest points of slave trade in the continent. It's not just one of the top most sought after destinations for tourism. But then, truly, when you go there, you see the traffic of tourists from across the world to Cape Coast Castle. This is packaging. And you see, you don't stay afar and begin to judge countries when it has to do with comparisons, not just tourism, other aspects. But in terms of tourism, I said, when you go to Ghana, specifically to explore the tourism industry, you will understand what I'm talking about. So what is the controversy here? Even Nigerians understand that Ghana, when it has to do with tourism, Ghana is up there. The Ashanti region alone is a top tourist destination. That's where you have Kumasi. Kumasi that has a lot of places to visit when it has to do with tourism. What are we talking about? When you mention other countries, if you talk about lakes, virtually every country in Africa has lakes. Ghana has lakes. You talk about caves. Ghana has caves. You talk about festivals, hills, beaches. They have those things. But the question is, when it has to do with Nigeria and Ghana, or even West Africa, what is the place of Ghana in terms of tourism? I'm just saying that, yes, other countries might have good tourism industry. Of course, Nigeria has tourism industry. But when it has to do with comparison between Nigeria and Ghana, as has been raging, and it comes to tourism, clear the space. Leave it for Ghana.